the fuck is your problem? My broadcast is being destroyed. No one can know that other people exist near me. Is this even... Fucking son of a bitch. I thought we dealt with this in the 21st century. Where it's like when you launch a game and then you change the audio output, the game also realizes that the audio output is supposed to change. Instead of being like, I'm gonna stick with this one. Girl in my phone. Well, thank you for the subscription, Valerie. I appreciate it. And now that you're here, we can start. We can go into this trial after I've spent a week forgetting everything that happened. As is my job. February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Feeney into Hospital. Yeah. Psycho Locked. I fucking forgot about Psycho Locks. Oh my. Mr. Larice feels that way about... me? Apparently. He isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini? She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donim, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well, then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I'm a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth? I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Yeah, I'm just kind of winging it. They are not capable hands. February 9th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 7. I'd like to see one where it's just like 10:01 a.m. and they're just like, your ass is late, holding you in contempt. Oh god, we got Canadian judge again. I can't do a Canadian accent. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Sibling grudge match time? What do you mean? Oh yeah, I guess Godot dropped out as soon as Phoenix wasn't the defense attorney, and Edgeworth found someone who wouldn't fucking rat him out. So it does make sense that it would be none other than Francisco. However, the same cannot be said for prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant...
Objection!
The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Francisca von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? But perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a Von Karma. That is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I am almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? Slips you $10 under the table. You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man amongst those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure, once before the— Ah! I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip at— Hold it! I have no objection to the whip. Yeah, but that doesn't matter, Edgeworth. The judge is the only one who needs to have an issue with the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there's still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Ah! The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is a famed picture book author, Miss Elise Donim. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Hiccups. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. You can only hope, Edgeworth. She can't even see over the fucking podium. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I could recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Why, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. There! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You know what, Francisca? Good on you. A courtroom is no place for lechery. Keep your lechery in somewhere else. I don't condone lechery in the courtroom. Other places, that's fine. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do a thing like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? I appreciate them throwing me via boot.
That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up, violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it!
So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple.
Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple.
That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with the testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. What is the inner temple?
Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right?
We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam.
In order to do that, place strong and spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training.
And how exactly do you help with this process?
It's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising.
Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip, in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple where the murder took place? Violently.
That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. Ha 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 ha!
On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again?
That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, I was gonna finally finish me off.
I wonder if he was supposed to have a Hokkaido accent or something. I assume it's like a northern region. Is like why they picked Canadian. I don't know I'm bad at geography in general. So if Hokkaido is in the north, then we agree. You left Iris to help with what?
What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper.
Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple?
Well, the job is simply to watch over the acolytes so they don't pass away.
Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct?
Yes, yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She never once failed to follow my directions.
So you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath.
My back is to blame for everything. It's a do-or-be-done-in kind of world, after all.
How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking?
My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Ah, this is why you have to watch the young ones.
What are you going on about? Ah!
Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth.
The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick-me sign stuck to the defense's bench?
Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so...
The crime took place in the courtyard, correct?
When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard.
That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There's indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Alright, what do we got? Magatama. This is the staff. Shichishido. Hazakura Temple, regional weather reports. Lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. Photo of Elise. Ring lights out bell at 10 p.m. and just went in her room until the murder was discovered. See, I wonder, is it like that Iris couldn't have been at the inner temple because she was inside? Or is it like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna present Iris's testimony. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all.
Well, well, well. Don't worry, I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all.
No, she said that?
A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that's completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Honest fairy-type eyes. Ow! All people lie. That is my belief. I'm a fan of the show, I don't know if you've seen it, it's American. House? He always speaks the truth. Everybody lies. Why am I the only one being whipped here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means, we must call your memory into question.
Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you?
Oh, well, that isn't exactly what I...
My memory is perfect! Crystal clear, especially in winter.
Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you're going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Abut Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. Okay. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. That's impossible. Because she fucking gave Phoenix her hood. Are you sure that you're not making a mistake?
You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Hi, Sleek Avian. Iris always wears the same clothes. Hope you're well. I'm doing very well, thank you. I hope the same for you. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake. Thinking I made a mistake.
An excellent finish there, witness. Still, I have to wonder. Anyway, Kerblam. Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct?
Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? Watching for bed because I absolutely do not have the energy to get up today. I feel you. Actually, that reminds me. Live on stream, I'm going to take my antidepressants. The cool thing about my antidepressants is they're the only kind that ever worked for me. And if I stop taking them, I develop a neurological disorder. It's fucking epic. But they do work a treat. I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. At least you found one that works for you. Yeah, it took like 3 or 4 different prescriptions, but one of them did eventually work. The worst part was getting prescribed antidepressants that basically only worked for me via placebo. Like, I would feel better because I had done something to combat my depression, and I would take them, and they would stop working because they never actually worked. And then I would just get a larger and larger prescription until it's just like, yeah, these aren't actually doing anything. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court. Sister. This hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given 1 hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. That is quite strange. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on the way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, Mystic Elise! And with the sword of all things! Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred when she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in 2 in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours?
Hold it!
How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway towards the main hall.
Hold it!
You say you heard a noise?
Thump! Just like that.
That could only be the sound of the victim falling.
It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump! Just like that.
But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground?
I never thought of that.
Ho 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 ho! Ah!
The next one to laugh gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over the courtyard and...
Hold it!
This is the second time the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims.
Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to...
The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword, Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can.
Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that's been bugging me all this time. Her hair was red for some reason.
Please, don't keep us in suspense.
Her hood! Her hood? That's right! It's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth.
What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important?
It is important.
This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony.
Miles Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you need only ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip.
Witness, add that statement to your testimony. Also, Jesus Christ, did she actually offer to use her whip to hang him? That's so fucked up.
No problem.
Hold it!
You're sure about that?
Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. Ah, I don't mean because we're poor, you understand. It's our style. Yes, that's it.
There's absolutely no need to explain yourself.
Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out.
Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip. That would be funny as hell. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Bite you and not someone else.
Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it.
Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim, eh?
Hold it!
The room the victim is staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Is that not what she just said? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor?
No, Hazakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a 2-story building.
I see. And the victim was staying in one of those elevated rooms, correct?
Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room after all.
Hold it!
What makes you so sure of all this?
It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump! Just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that.
The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises,
indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height.
It appears that the witness was not mistaken then.
Yep. I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
There's only 2 of them working there.
What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark?
It doesn't feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only two things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. Iris didn't have her hood on. It seems important, but I don't have anything that could object to that because that's just correct. She wouldn't have had her hood on. Cold Magazine. Regional Weather Report. Oh, it's because she fell after death.
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you're overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right! It says after death right here! The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. The defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard. How did the victim then go on to take the 10-foot fall? Order! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that's the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Upon which, the defendant ran back down to grab the sword out of her body. Easy. Makes perfect sense. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Donim's room? Oh, thank you for the subscription, Level 1 Cleric. It is Feeny Friday, yes. We're fucking trouncing Franzi right now, which is, of course, very sad. There's no Feeny. He's in the hospital, but the game is still named after him. She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Ah! No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then you're Ah! I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. It's when it's removed. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. Not exactly, but I guess fair. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. I mean, there would be a lot of bleeding, but it would just, you know, be running along the blade of the weapon. Not like, you know, pouring out. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion, then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Order, order, order. I must admit this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Oh, she got small again. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate.
Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood.
Please just get this lady a chair. I'm begging you.
Sister, please give us your testimony.
I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here.
With the whip? Oh, boy. All right, all right.
Further details.
When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you?
You think she saw Mystic Elise and tried to pull the sword out of her because she was freaking out? Because that seems likely to me. But she did lie about leaving the temple, if that's the case.
That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back.
This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. At that time, was the victim bleeding?
Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood. Not then.
I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Think carefully. This is very important.
It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body.
It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood, after just saying you didn't see any blood?
That's right! Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too.
When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well. That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Absolutely. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding?
Well, I suppose I say that what I saw is what I saw.
What did you see, though?
Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her plain as day.
Pulling the sword out. See, there we go. Easy peasy.
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out.
Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony.
Oh, was that important?
More important than you can imagine. Smoothly, you say. You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out.
That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Ami. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt.
Which seems impossible given that there's only blood on the tip.
When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand sort of just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from that gaping wound. Ah!
It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding.
Nothing out of place here.
Is that really the case? It can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened. Bink. Sister Bikini, you're a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you.
What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to the hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain your— Explain yourself! To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that.
Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I, too, may appear to be weak and frail. But I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose.
The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. Also, like, the blood is only at the tip. Are you claiming she fucking ran out of blood before the sword was stabbed into her? I don't think so. That's... We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
But that's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a Shichishido. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword.
No! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
But what does it all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but... having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... the weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shichishido. What?
A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy, foolish fool.
Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon?
Well, it's because Mystic Ami was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shichishido was the murder weapon. Order, order, order.
So maybe the Shichishido was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. No, she didn't. She saw her remove a sword-like object. It's entirely possible she was just stealing her staff. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area.
Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. Also, it's entirely possible that someone just hit her over the head with a heavy object, and then she died, and then they stabbed her with the sword after they threw her out the window to add more bruises. But it says loss of blood was probably the most likely cause of death. So, answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of.
You what?
Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister.
Impossible. What else could this old woman have seen? She's like the seer. The looker, even.
I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks! Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time.
Well, I'm not in the best of shape, with my back and my age, you know.
Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory.
The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple, and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon.
Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
Hold it!
You are sure about the time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all.
Why was that?
Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year.
What is it about the winter that changes you as a person?
The Acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple.
Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least.
Please continue, sister.
Hold it!
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct?
Right, the one who trampled me.
It seems she's the type to hold a grudge.
There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge.
Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him? He had forgotten it at home, apparently.
What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell.
Hold it!
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited.
That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls.
Now you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate.
So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? I'm pressing further. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time?
Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see. I never thought of that. That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. And that tracks. There wasn't any snow on it. Curses! It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile?
Hold it!
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. There's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch. Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to ride anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it.
Hold it!
Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. It's possible to get back to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that it is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth?
Hold it!
Well, it would have been possible, time-wise. One element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon while there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. See, the thing about that, I don't think that... Oh, it's the inner temple that has the rocks on the other side. Never mind. Ah! Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. I could have been, and maybe was. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. Was there a reason to get rid of the murder weapon? Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back after it while I was knocked out. I mean, there's no reason to get rid of the murder weapon except to make sure people believe it was the Shichishido that was the murder weapon. Oh, you can't stop yawning. Oh my goodness. Need some coffee. But not this coffee. I need different coffee. PM. After asking it would be reported, I went out to the main gate and
Saw snowmobile tracks. 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5. On those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. There is a problem with the testimony. Okay. (10 to 11 p.m.) Okay, so she saw that. I mean, the tracks on the snowmobile just show tracks going back to the temple, but I assume that that's not gonna be anything substantial. 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge with less than 5 using those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back when I was knocked out. It's like, Dusky Bridge had been struck by lightning before the murder took place. But I don't know if that has any bearing on this. Every time I look at this picture, I'm like, oh my god, somebody killed Marcel Donato. That's so sad. I'm gonna go through these again, I guess. Sure about the time, yes. Time is accurate. She asked that it was reported. There's no phone, so she sent him to the bridge. Why didn't she, like, why did she ask him to report it if she was also going to the bridge? Oh, she was going to the main gate, not the bridge. That's the only snowmobile. Fucking, it's just like, she described the same sound for hitting a tree in the snowmobile that she did for the lady falling out of the building. So I'm just like, what if she just fucking hit a tree in the snowmobile? And it's like, oh my god, I hope somebody doesn't stab me. But I guess she would have to already be dead at that point. Actually, no, let me not press this one and see if something happens. No snow on it, yeah. Okay. Looks very likely snowmobile is related to the case. Can't help but think Iris used it, but for what? Okay, so that just doesn't give me anything else. Something about no snow on the snowmobile I feel like is important. Oh, the weather report. 7 to approximately 10:50. So yeah, it wouldn't have snowed after. Oh fuck, I did it again. Yeah, there wasn't any snow on the snowmobile. Maybe they threw the weapon in Eagle River and came back after I was knocked out. Correct. Explain. She doesn't like being on the snowmobile because she hit a tree. How long were you knocked out for? 10 to 20 minutes, so she could go and come back. She can drive the snowmobile. Possible time-wise. Mystery element. Why did the killer do all this? So it could have been, but why was there a reason for it? But I don't know if I have... It's like, what would I even present to prove that she would have had no reason to get rid of the murder weapon? Like, would I just show this? It's just like, there's no reason to try and hide a murder weapon because this is so obviously posed to look like it is the murder weapon? I'm very confused. Sword. Like, the sword itself? I guess it does have the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it. Which is like, why would she have even touched it if she was worried about hiding evidence? I don't know. Let's try the sword. Nope. Sword no good. It appears that even I can make mistakes. I'm gonna try this one. Nope. Like, am I presenting it on the wrong part? Sword? No. Picture? No. Ah, fuck. I should have saved before I tried all of those. I'm very confused. I have no fucking idea what they want from me in this situation. Yeah, no. Like, he keeps saying something about, like, there's an obvious issue with the testimony, but I don't know what it is. And he also brings up, why would she have wanted to get rid of the murder weapon? I mean, also, she keeps saying, I saw the murder. That's just not the case. We established that she didn't see the murder. But there's nothing I can present that's just like, hey, can you revise your statement because you just saw her pulling the sword out of her? Like, that's it. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and can't... Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. We know the snowmobile was used.
Hold it.
After asking every reward, I went to the main gate. I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. Takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. She had time to throw the weapon into the river and come back while she was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile. Like, Edgeworth, help me out here. What is the obvious issue? Luckily, there's surely... Oh, okay, he doesn't say obviously. There just surely is. I've poked at every bit of this, but I don't know... Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River. I'm so lost. I am absolutely fully stumped. I have no fucking idea what they want from me here. Sure about the time? Yes. She sent Wright to the payphone because he doesn't have a cell phone on him. She saw tracks indicating the snowmobile had been used. There wasn't any snow on the snowmobile because it had been used. Is there something in the picture of the snowmobile? Like, clearly the footprints leaving the main gate. There's a thing where the snowmobile is parked. Like, it was clearly driven up and parked. I'm, like, scouring this picture to find any issues. What about Larry? What about Larry? Fucking... His friends in his grade store. Don't remember how he became friends, though. Like, he was down in the heavenly wherever. So, he gave testimony to me where he saw the bridge light on fire, so there's no way he could have gotten up, grabbed the snowmobile, and driven it back. I don't think. Waiting for her? I mean, he was, but he was doing it down in the heavenly wherever. I guess. Like, it had been used. Is it actually that there are no tracks showing that it left recently? Like, was my initial assumption correct? And I was like, this game is too stupid to want me to do that? No. God damn it, I was doing so well in the beginning parts of this. I had no issues up until literally just this testimony. And now I have no I'm lost. from main gate to Dusky Bridge. What does that mean? Cult Magazine, Regional Weather Report. What if it's the weather report? No, it is not. Fucking holy crap. What do they want from me? I've pressed every statement. I don't see anything that contradicts anything she's saying. At least not directly. After asking that report, I went to the main gate. I saw tracks that indicated a snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Hold it!
"10 to 20 minutes.
Hold it!
The killer's reasoning. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the Eagle River and dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Whatever the reason, the Marines could have done this. I just, like, present this. It's just like, Iris said she didn't leave, so she didn't leave. I assume the footprints from the main gate are Phoenix's? Or, I mean, who are these footprints? Because the snowmobile tracks go over them, so the snowmobile came back after those footprints were made, but I don't actually know whose footprints they are, so how could I prove anything using that? There. Okay, so that was it. It is the photograph, but, like, I'm just literally throwing shit at the wall. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You've finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of... It was the fucking tracks. God damn it. I just presented it in the wrong fucking statement. Son of a bitch. God damn it. Says the truth, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be 2 sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Ah, you're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it? It doesn't, because the snow ended before 11 p.m. I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. Also, that little snow would have still left a divot of previous tracks. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? There's a contradiction, dumbass. Read the weather report. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow.
Take that!
Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime.
Like I said, it was around 11.
Of course, this means the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Ugh. Order. Very well, then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Ha! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. What? Answer me this, then. When is a weather report ever correct? After the fact? Literally after the fact, when they're just like, this is the weather that happened. No, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data. Thank you, Judge. Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may still have been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true, we can't be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well, then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Well, I mean, there are footprints. Well, there's no snow on her, so I'm gonna go with that. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. Two smug motherfuckers go to just fucking, like, really showing down. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception, and that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donan. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. Order, order. Just what are you... Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At the time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained.
Can I say something? That all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Okay, so what you're saying is she couldn't have been on the murder scene? Is that something you want to prove right now? She had to not have been there, like, when the murder happened? Is that really the point you want to make? Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge. So she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
That sounds right.
But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple,
there wasn't any snowmobile?
I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. There was the snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too.
But that just isn't possible! Order, order! Order in the court! What does it all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness.
Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night?
I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that.
It's like, oh my god. The word idiot has triggered my memories of butts.
Unless they had something really important to do.
That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out in this subarctic night. Your Honor. Actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder. I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? Fucking, you better believe it's the butts. It's fucking Mr. Ass himself. This guy must be product of Jean-Luc Leduc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Donham. Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering a boot outside on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. This is my favorite part of this game. What, people just laying into Larry? Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. Honestly, I kind of wish I liked it more. That's fair. See, if this was a version of the game without save states, I would be like, oh, thank fucking God, we made it to a save point. No Edgeworth and Francie going at it. Oh yeah, no, it's pretty great.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say.
Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene.
All right, I'll help you any way I can.
First, about that night. You really didn't go to the Inner Temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying.
Mr. Edgeworth, it's just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple.
Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the times Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one that used the snowmobile?
There's only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me.
So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth.
God damn it, girl, don't make me fucking spin kick you. I'm trying to save your goddamn life here. Iris.
I can't tell you about that. Yet.
Yet.
Not until her safety is confirmed.
Her?
The safety of the Acolyte.
The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya.
You see, I let Maya take a joyride on the snowmobile, and she almost crashed it and died. And that would cause a bunch of legal shit to happen, and I would really prefer to avoid more of that at this current moment.
Iris, look at me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donham?
No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life.
As I thought. No psycho-locks. Very well. It is my job to get the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where is the witness?
During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery.
What did Bikini call her again? Did Bikini call her something besides Sister Iris? Or did she call Maya something? Oh my fucking god, what is going on with my internet right now? Stop wibbling. Stabilize. What is wrong with you? Suspicious behavior. He was sketching something very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that his intention was to capture you. Ah! Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Larice Donim, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. Ow! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey! I was just artistically— Ow! You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Oh my god, they actually used subpoena in this game. I never thought I'd see the day where I saw someone mention a subpoena in this game. Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, Viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work. I hope. That's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expected all your faces to be red when you realized this mistake. Bright red. Or, to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ow. Ow, 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 oh. Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Man, they really were just like, this guy likes hockey. We have made him Canadian. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now. This is too much for me. I was at that lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I edgy? Yes. Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody. Nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation, or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been in the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he's been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination. With no touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time.
Hold it!
Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth, this one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse. So, witness, any ideas as to where these contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may stay my whip. Okay, give me a minute. Well, it was snowing that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. The rundown shack is hardly a lodge, is it? And even if the stars could be seen, it wasn't like I was there to look at them, right? See? You can do it if you try. Ow! There is only one issue here. What you saw at Dusky Bridge.
Hold it!
A number of times. How many? Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes. Which means you spent almost 2 hours in Heavenly Hall that night? You bet! Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love, you say? It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack using this blackmail letter. Blackmail? No, that was simply a product of overflowing love. Ah! You huffy, puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whiny wuss of a witness. So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy, puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness. Eh? Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all.
Hold it!
Larry, you really didn't see it. Hey, no need to hit your desk, I can hear you. I didn't see it. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile. If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up! What is this? I don't know. Don't ask me. Seems that I'll need to start from more obvious contradiction. I'm gonna strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans.
Hold it!
You didn't meet anyone. That's right, because I've got nothing to do with this. And I'm just here to buy some Viridian paint, okay? Come on, I expect to see those Crimson Lake faces now! It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Indeed. Seems that he's going to claim yet to have nothing to do with this to the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. Do I just present Phoenix? I think I just present Phoenix.
Objection!
Larry Butts, I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry. But, having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? Certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. You're totally pinning this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right, me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. Doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you'll continue to cause these incidents. The reality will never change. But what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to do is change your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue, is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. I'll ask again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. I would totally burn out, like almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. I never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination.
Hold it!
What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half?
Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess.
Excited? Dare I even ask?
I set the meeting time at 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait, and I thought she might come early, too.
Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end.
Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they?
Shut up! Don't go picking my fond memories apart!
Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so, I went to the bridge. I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her.
Hold it!
This light was, of course, lightning. Like kapow! Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. Big bada boom. Ah!
Or a little like that?
That's more like a punch from Miranda. Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge?
Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so...
Hold it!
Seeing that, what did you do?
What do you think? I was burning up as well from the fire in my heart.
And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge?
Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so I don't know, I changed my mind.
I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at first, Witness.
Hold it!
You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that?
The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught on fire, maybe around 5 minutes. I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out.
How far is this small shack you were in from the bridge?
Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk.
And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there?
Like I'd recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compete.
Well, should I press him for a little more info?
Yes, obviously.
So you suddenly thought to check out the bridge. Does this mean that you initially had no intention of doing so?
Well, yeah, I guess it does. It was really cold. I didn't really want to go out there.
If that's the case, why did you change your mind? I would like to hear your reasoning. In which case, please give testimony to that effect, Witness.
My reasoning? Okay, reasoning. Is it...
Hold it!
So you decided to go and see what was happening?
That's right. We're talking about a massive suspension bridge burning to high heaven. It's not something you see every day. Real specul... Like, really special?
Can we really trust a witness who's unable to pronounce spectacle? Life seems to love hitting the poor witness below the belt.
Well, my motto is hit life back as hard as I can. Ow!
I'll give you a few hits too if you'd like, with my whip. He told me about this burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth.
Hold it!
I'm gonna ask him the other question. Just to make sure.
Larry, let me ask you one thing.
What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face?
Why didn't you call anyone?
Huh? What do you mean?
Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try to tell someone. There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct?
Well, of course I thought of doing that.
So then, let's hear why you didn't.
Huh? Yeah, okay, a reason. My reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay?
Hold it!
You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright?
Yeah. I thought I'd better tell someone about this. But then Nick came up yelling about murder.
It totally made me forget about the bridge. The fire was pretty much out by then anyway. What's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease. It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct? Yeah, that's pretty much it. More or less. He told me of the... Okay. I'm just gonna hit him with all of them, including the not asking him anything, just to see. I don't think we can expect any more relevant information. Probably best to turn to other leads. Okay, yeah. Wait. So it changed his testimony. If you pick one, it removes the other. Interesting. Of course, I don't think him saying that he wouldn't have the chance to see anything that big on fire again is really relevant to anything. So this is probably what we're looking for. See, lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. I'm not sure what they want from me in this one either, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the weather again. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Etchy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. Well, yeah, you didn't provide a speed at which you can ride your bicycle, dumbass. Or a speed of Billy, to begin with. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah. Well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge. Meaning you probably got there at around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. Then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There's no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Oh, excuse me, I have an objection. You do? Etchy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Larice Doda. Ow! It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Francisca von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It's clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means, what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes? Ugh. I feel like I just got brutally woken up by toilet splashback. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Haha, pinch. Order. Ow! So there's a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there's a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Yes, witness. Why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? I mean, yes. And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. That's what it sounds like. Ah, but this is Larry we're talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy. I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm gonna tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this time. Then say it. Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this, however. Let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? I got attacked by ninjas. It's like, what? Ninjas? Yeah, that's right. I'm a donim. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. Approaching your location, by the way. Oh, fuck. I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right! I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. You'll regret this, Edgy. Oh my god, my internet is so shit right now. What is happening? I was at 500 kilobytes per second. What the fuck? Somebody help me. My internet, that is. Please. Stabilize. I specifically have things to help it to make it so you stabilize better. What is your fucking deal? Okay, there we go. We're better. We're not great, but we're better.
Hold it.
Tell us, Larry. My name is Larice. Get it right. Mistakes like that are what keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am. I don't know, it's just, fucking... Apparently I keep dropping frames and OBS keeps, like, shoving me into the red, so I'm not sure what's happening. Just who exactly are you? I'm Larice Donim, apprentice extraordinaire! That's what he calls himself, in any case. Then you are an artist. Of course, I'm an artist, the real thing! Yet again, that's what he calls himself. Names mean nothing. There's only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing? That is a very big issue indeed.
Hold it.
Sketching the burning bridge. The burning bridge and everything that came with it. What? Came with it? You want to hear this from my lips? Do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine... Ah! Enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. I have to see it. Come on, we can't not see it. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch. Please. Well, well. Even I couldn't have imagined it turn out like this. Imagined what? That Larice Donim's debut would take place here, today, like this. Ow! Show it, now! Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Laurie Stoneham! Is that a fucking flaming ghost? Like a fire woman? Ah. Well. So this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames. I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. This is gonna get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine, but what is that unfortunate-looking figure? Oh, you spotted that? I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course. Iris! I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for our future, you know? What would have happened to her if she'd injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist. Are you? Hi, the girl, she's really high up in this picture. Ah, what was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of a mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What? Me? The witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination, by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what did you think of my debut piece? Get that thing away from me. A horrible sketch of what he saw the night of the crime. It's not that bad. Now hurry up and cross-examine him.
Hold it!
Just where did you see this sight from? Hey, no need to shout. When I was lying in bed in the rundown shack, the crack of the lightning bolt made me realize that the bridge was burning. I just watched it for a while from there, thinking how nicely it was burning. Then after about 5 minutes, I saw it. The defendant flying? That's right. That's when I decided to go to the bridge. I see, that all makes sense. Aside from the sketch itself. Also, like, this is very clearly underneath the bridge. Because the suspension lines for this bridge don't go above it. They're attached to the bottom. For some reason. Yes, this sketch doesn't make any sense. I just need to convince the artist that his work is ludicrous. You transferred everything directly onto the page, and that is this sketch here. Yep, sensational, isn't it? Or should it be scandalous? That'd put my mind at ease anyway. It did. That's right. The reason she didn't come to me, even though I waited for her, was because she was trapped on the other side of the bridge. Could it be that Iris undertook that dangerous, desperate flight in order to reach me? That's gotta be it! Alright, go me! Ow! Continue, please.
Hold it!
You forgot the passage of time to that extent, did you? Well, once I get caught up in something, I tend to forget everything else. That's true, he's always been that way. I guess he's not lying about that, at least. Phoenix Wright appeared on the scene at 11:15, after 11:15. If he was drawing until then, that dispels all doubts. Aside from doubts of his humanity, eh? There's a big clue waiting for me in this cross-examination. This testimony does nothing less than mock the court, but I'm sure that there is a vital kernel of truth hidden in it somewhere. She fully was not wearing her hood. Dumbass, we've been over this. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1, that's the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. Ow! A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement made by an equally foolish, foolhardy fool. How, exactly, can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry, according to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was! That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and my Iris is my darling hood. Ow. It seems that there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest that it was Wright who took flight? What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? What? Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why you, Nick, you dog! I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded. Straight into the garbage. What is it now, witness? It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today's the day I get to completely stupefy you. What? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive evidence? Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge. And I, Laurie Stoneham, shall prove it! I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch. And show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, hope you're ready, Edgy. Because I'm gonna feed you a whopping serving of pain! You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. When I reached Dusky Bridge and she was already gone, I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding a beautiful crystal sphere half buried in the snow. Oh, Jesus. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. What do you mean no one else could have lost a crystal sphere? A crystal sphere? This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers. That sphere, where did you find it? Let me see, around here somewhere? Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then, but there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. The court accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterwards. There's something on it. Oh my, it's blood! What? Blood? You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's gonna push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Larice Donim only a few minutes ago? Do I just show her? Like, she definitely could have lost a crystal sphere. Like, dumbass. Larry, that night, there was someone. Someone who lost a crystal sphere. Invaders in the penthouse of the 99 Dragons clan? What are you talking about? Is this a Yakuza reference? Anyway, 5 feet from you. You're not 5 feet from me. You're much farther than that. That there was? Who? Who was that stupid idiot? Miss Elise Donim, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey! That's my photograph! Give it back! Ow! A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff found at the scene of the crime. The crystal sphere! It's gone! What? 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 Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across that bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donan? I knew she was a fucking wizard. A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach such a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly. Thus, it is rejected. You can't do that! I saw it with my own 2 eyes! And this crystal sphere. This is nothing more than red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donim was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. Miss Franziska von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe that it has nothing to do with this case? That crystal sphere, it was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There's blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent, which is the exact same reason he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? Ow! All joking aside, just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe that it is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Donim left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it's not related to the case, then this witness who you called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? She doesn't have it on the, Yeah, she doesn't have it in the picture. Oh, because it was half covered in snow. Of course it's... yeah, obviously. Because the snow was still falling before the murder took place. Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You'll do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he's cornered. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Whether... Your response, Miss Von Karma? Birds of a feather flock together. Are you familiar with this phrase? Miles Edgeworth? I think one such bird is calling for its fellow now. Go, go, Edgy! Do it! Prove it! Win, win, win! His cheering. It's as though I'm listening to the ominous cause of ravens. Ah, what the fuck do you mean? What the fuck do you mean? It was dropped before the murder, which is why it kept snowing, and it was half covered in snow. So, Mr. Edgeworth, what will you do from here? One more chance, Your Honor. I can't turn back after coming all this way. The time of the murder and when the crystal sphere was dropped, I need to find proof that the latter happened first. The time of the murder... 10 to 11... Wrong again. How could that possibly be wrong? It was half covered in snow. The only thing that mentions snow and time is this. Ugh. Is it because the staff wasn't on her body? Like, huh? The orb says it was half covered. I mean, it does say that. But the weather would just be part of how that's proved. Whatever. Orb. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. The weather was not enough to prove it, but the orb with the weather, with that, like, you, huh? What? Huh? This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. Get bent, idiot. This game is so stupid. Why? The logic is so fucking ass backwards. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing? On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there's no snow on the victim's body. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Order, order, order. On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. Maybe she hit somebody over the head with it. Go, my cornered. What What could that have been? This sphere, there is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool, and which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim be... Once again, we established that that was not what was happening. We established that she was pulling a sword from her body. That's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing! You don't kill someone by removing a weapon from their body. To be clear, Franzi, I really hate to break it to you. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. If you exsanguinate them, you do. I mean, you're not removing a murder weapon from their body, you're removing their blood. It's a little different. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. At least Donem's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple, unless you use a snowmobile, dumbass. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. These beef things are good, but they're spicy as fuck. Oh, the arayas? Yeah, they're pretty spicy. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. The method? Yeah, it was the snowmobile. On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body. Order! Ah! This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She is the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You're too late, Franziska Von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim, Elise Donem, really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? I love his stupid shrug animation. It's like, I don't know, but you also fucking don't. Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this so that it is something that had actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy, thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It's just as I thought. Larry emoticon. Real. Franziska Von Karma. You make a wonderful partner. Excuse me. There was one reason and one alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case and then pass it on to Wright. Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had Francie whipping me all— Ow! Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a shame, Francie. This is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You are an affront to all the legal system stands for. Beats the absolute piss and hell out of you. I demand satisfaction. I want to be her so damn bad. If you were that free with the whip, I would be scared of you. I cannot believe the witness's testimony actually relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I'm counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, right? Didn't they say it would take 2 days for him to recover? This has only been 1 day. Whatever. It's time to save. And it's time to end the stream. Because my throat hurts. I didn't have Twitch open. So rating will be delayed. Ever so slightly. Let me just find somebody to raid. Let's see. E.G. is playing Limbees. Yesterday. Oh, the investigation itself was 1 day? Oh, okay. I see. Heavenly Fighter's playing Repo, which, to be honest, is funny as hell. The person I raided the wrong person last stream. So I'm thinking maybe I should raid Atsumori. Because it looks like he's doing miniature stuff, which might be cool. I'm gonna send you guys to Atsumori. I hope you enjoyed this Feeny Friday. I will be returning on Sunday with more Voices of the Void, which I am very much looking forward to. Apparently, there's a new Deltarune chapter coming out tomorrow, so maybe I'll do that on Sunday instead, but probably not. I think I'm going to try and keep my game consistent for Sunday for now. But I will see you all later. I hope you had an excellent night, and I hope you have an excellent weekend. Bye-bye.